Welcome to our second video notes, and hopefully today will be very brief based on the title, a brief overview of the ancient river political systems. We're going to be looking at all four, and you want to have your Persia chart out in front of you. So let me just show you. Remember, this is on Blackboard, and you always want to go File, Make a Copy if you wish to type out your notes. But you want to be filling out this one, political, for all four. So here we have a map of the locations of all four. Remember, you can't get enough of this map. I mean, there's no problem with seeing the map more than once. But they all start around 3000 BC. Mesopotamia is the first, it's the oldest, followed by Egypt and China, and then Harappa, or the Indus River Valley. Starting off with Mesopotamia, it was a theocracy, meaning that the religion and the government are united as one. So the person who was the ruler, the king, was the leader of the government and also of the religion there. So for Sumer, it first begins as city-states, and I'm just going to switch to a map real quick. So here we are in the Fertile Crescent, or Mesopotamia. Down at the bottom, near the Persian Gulf, we have Sumer, and these independent city-states of Lagash, Uruk, all competed with one another for land, for territory, because everyone wants to have the best farmland, and because of this, these city-states were fighting with one another, and that leads to instability, and then you're vulnerable for invasion by other outside groups. And Mesopotamia is dominated generally by around four. We have the Akkadians, the Babylonians, who produced the first written law code, the Code of Hammurabi, the Assyrians, and then finally the Hittites, who invent the chariot and also iron weapons, which are much stronger than bronze at the time. With Egypt, Egypt is also a theocracy. The pharaoh, the king, was seen as divine. And unlike Mesopotamia, Egypt is politically stable, and this was because it was geographically isolated, and the Nile flooded in a regular pattern. And Egypt is generally divided into three ages or periods. We have the Old Kingdom, which is known for the building of the Great Pyramids at Giza, then the Middle Kingdom, and then finally the New Kingdom, which is significant in its expansion of trade, and then also its expansion through trade and warfare in invading other countries. Here we have the Indus River Valley, and then later the Indo-Aryans who come. But remember, the oldest ones are the Harappan and the cities of Mohenjo-Daro. And like for the society, we don't really know a lot about these civilizations because we can't read their writing. We do know that they did have some form of political system that was highly organized, so often with a single leader, and they did have advanced technology, so there was a certain amount of planning that was done. But suddenly, around 1800 BCE, the city of Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro just disappear, and we don't know why. Some people think it's because of natural disasters like an earthquake or floods. Others thought it was due to a new group of people called the Indo-Aryans migrating or invading into India. Now, these Indo-Aryans brought with them the caste system, which defines India until up until the British dominate India as a colony in the 18th and 19th centuries. But the caste system we're gonna look at next week as part of our study of Hinduism as well. Then, after the Indo-Aryans migrate, we have the two great empires of India, the Mauryans and the Guptas. The Guptas are considered the golden age of India. Finally, we have China, and China is different from everyone else in its sheer domination of the emperor or the king over the Chinese people, and we call that an autocracy, or the rule by one person. And China was highly centralized with a large bureaucracy to ensure that the will of the king or the emperor later on was put into use. We have 3 dynasties so far in our study of China. We have the Shang, which is the oldest, the Zhou in the middle, and then finally the Qin. And all 3 of these dynasties worked to produce large public works such as canal digging, and then Emperor Shi Huangdi, the very first emperor of China, built the foundations for the Great Wall. And then finally, after the Qin dynasty, we have a government that is still an emperor. It's still an autocracy, but it has a large bureaucracy to carry out the rule of China to its to all the people, and they do this through a civil service, and this is based on the works of Confucian, who we have over here, and his writings, what he believed. So that wraps it up for our brief outline of political systems for 4 ancient river valleys. Remember, you can always go back and play this, pause it, and we will see you in class tomorrow.